Whether you need a good pick-me-up or just a good time, add a little magic to your glass with Friday's Margarita Midnight on All Things Pagan Radio.
Flip the switch and let the cauldron bubble! Margarita Midnight!
Welcome to Margarita Midnight on All Things Pagan Radio. Care to browse the wine list? We have Raven's Brew from the Colorado Mountains, or we have a house favorite, a Scandinavian blend of Lindauer, or the signature drink, a tumbler full of Sorsha. And for the truly brave, we have Black Mark Rum.
Welcome to episode 8 of Margarita Midnight. Today's episode, altars. Ding, 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 ding.
Okay. Who wants to start?
Maybe someone who actually has one.
I do. Nobody else uses altars?
I used to have one, but it's overcrowded with books now, so I have to recreate it.
Well, you talk about altars you had, or altars that we do, or different types of altars. You know, some have ones just specific for a deity. Some have one specifically for working.
Yeah, mine's more ornamental, more like put a piece of spirituality in the everyday life. But I changed it according to seasons. Mostly according to the festivals I do celebrate. Mm-hmm. Like, I put some red maple leaves on it for what you might call Halloween.
Yeah, Samhain is my favorite. On Samhain, I have an altar that's in the house set up, preferably a week before, and we have framed pictures of all our loved ones that have passed, and I set up the altar, and all the pictures are set up. I've made, actually what I did is, you know the baby food jars? Mm-hmm. I took those, and I painted the front of them for Samhain, and then I put a whole bunch of them on a tray, and then when we have the gathering, everybody goes in there and sort of lights a candle for that person to be here. It's like a symbol for the person to be here. And we have a skull that I keep on the altar, and what most people use the skull for is messages to the loved ones or things they want to banish away from them. And what they do is they write it, and Galen actually made me the skull. And it has a hole in the top where I could set a candle or one of these little, it's like those little liquid candles they put in pumpkins. It's a little container that lights up. Yeah, well, I put the little candle that lights up in the skull, and then people throw it in there and it burns inside the skull. We do that every Samhain, and then on Yule, we do the Yule log. Save a piece of Yule log to light the next Yule log year. And the altars are all, everybody's kind of, I make my altars family friendly because I have grandchildren that come in, and so I've made different altar cloths that have, you know, cute designs on it that kids can relate to.
Yeah, mine's kid-friendly, too. I put little gnomes on it for you, and I've got a couple of small witches on it for Samhain.
Mark, Raven?
My altar is very different from yours. Well, just the skull alone I use for different things.
Don't be so sure, Mark. I've got a puppet on mine right now.
Yeah, I use my altar for a lot of different things, but...
Skull, when I had one, I used it... Well, you know the thing about the bronze head from Arabic ritual and magic?
No.
No? But, Linda, stop laughing. Shut up, I can hear you.
You know we love you. Go on, Mark. Tell us about your skull.
And, like, they would craft a bronze head, and they would carve specific Kabbalistic symbols into it for whatever god or being or entity they were trying to communicate with.
Okay.
And they burn a specific type of incense to try to lure it into the bronze head, and they'd seal it shut so that it, kind of like a genie in a bottle, so that it couldn't get away.
Then what do they do with the head? Bury it?
No, they keep it. And whether it's the soul of the dead or it's a spirit of some kind, they talk to it and they question it and they learn whatever it is they want to learn. It's basically like trapping a servant.
I'm trying.
Because it speaks.
It speaks?
Yeah, that's why it's called a talking head.
Well, if my skull starts talking, I'm out of here. I don't know. What would you do if you had a skull on your thing and started talking to you?
I would wonder what people put in my drink.
But that's to say it could not happen. It could happen.
It does happen.
Yeah.
And it's not something to joke about.
Well, what would you do? No, I'm not joking. I'm thinking, what would you do if it happened?
I'm used to it, and it does happen. So to me, it's no different than talking to somebody on the phone. But that's just my way of doing it. I'm so
chatty, I probably just talk back.
Talk back. I don't know what I would do. Mentally, I could talk through things like that, but if you just physically started talking to me, I don't know what I would do.
Yeah,
I'd probably go, well, hey, what you want me to do? Because it seems like you have more power than I do. You're talking through this skull. But it is pretty cool.
Mine kind of travels throughout the house. Well, now it's pretty permanent in the back in my work area. It was here in the office, like by the window, and the cats would jump up there and knock things over to get to the window. Then I moved it to the other side of me. The table's back on this side, but all my altar stuff is in the back, but the dog would hit her head on the table, or I'd hit my knee on the table and knock things over, and it's like, well, that's not working out either. Kitchen counter gets cluttered, so I moved it again. So now it's in the back where I do all my, like, most of my artwork stuff.
Nobody can
where it's safe.
Do you have it faced in a certain elemental direction?
No. Right now it's wherever it's out of the way.
Mine's north. Mine's always north. Mark, do you face it in an elemental direction?
No.
You don't? Some people don't. Some people have a free, they just kind of, when I'm outside, it depends, But I always have it set up, for some reason, for me, it works better in the north. A lot of them put it in the east.
Even Mike noticed that my altar's, like, facing, I guess, the opposite of what people would normally put it, and he pointed it out. I was like, yeah, but my desk is facing this way. So,
yeah.
Huge. The desk is, like, enormous, and I was like, I can't just easily go, whoop, turn it around, because it's, like, it's huge. It's my huge work area. It's like, I don't know, it's like, I'm just, like, whatever. It's an altar. I don't think they care personally.
Somebody gave my puppy espresso.
Oh, no.
It looks like he's running like mad across the room.
Oh, my
God.
God.
That was me. I figured you needed a little bit more to do during the day, so...
Oh, yeah.
I took it upon myself.
Like I need more to do. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Welcome to episode 8 of Margarita Midnight. Today's episode, altars.
Yeah, north just feels right for me, and it sort of coincides with North Door of churches being locked. It was considered the evil direction.
I do for north, for earth, for grounding. Everybody does it for different reasons.
Yeah.
And then I have little altars around the house, which some people wouldn't even know it's an altar. It's just the collection of things that I put together, and it's for a certain purpose, and they're spread around the house. The only one I don't have ice is a bathroom. I don't have anything like that in there, but everywhere else there is. Even in the kitchen, there's the kitchen altar for cooking. But if you walked in the house, you wouldn't notice unless you understood what I believed in.
Yeah, I really want to set something up in the kitchen. I feel it's missing. I do most of my things in there, so...
Yeah, I got the Hoosier. I don't know, you don't know what a Hoosier is, but it's an old cabinet they used to have when people, before I had kitchens, they didn't have cabinets and everything like they do now. And it was a little piece of furniture that has a work table on it, and it has cabinets at the top and cabinets in the bottom and drawers for whatever else you need. We had found one years ago, and I took it for where I put the essential oils and herbs and all that. It has a counter right there to work on and do everything with. So that's actually ends up being my work table.
I've occupied the whole kitchen on the first floor for my stuff.
You have 2 kitchens?
It used to be 2 apartments, but they started out as a single house, then they split it up into apartments, and then they put it together again, so that's why there are 2 kitchens.
2 kitchens? I'd have a field day.
Oh, me too.
Like, I'm going to bake this over here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, well, another thing we could do for altars is try to give some pointers to those who want to create one but don't really know how. Because there's a lot of bad info out there. Bad, in my opinion, at least. That you have to have this and this and this and that.
Oh, no. I know. I have a bowl that I use. It was a silver bowl. It was sterling silver. And it was my altar bowl. And every time we picked flowers, I put it in the bowl. Mm-hmm. And that was the altar, center of the altar table of the pretty things outside and stuff to bring it in. Mm-hmm. I wish I didn't sell it. But, you know, as they say, it happens.
Yeah.
It was huge. But, hey, it wasn't meant to be mine.
Another one will come around.
If it does. I've been kind of switching to pewter. I use a lot of pewter and wood.
Yeah, I use a lot of wood and stone. I got a big granite mortar. Being a powder witch, you really need a mortar.
Well, I have a huge cauldron. It takes 2 guys to pick it up. Actually, I did a barter for it. I traded my fiddle for this awesome drum and this big cauldron.
I wish I could have a cauldron.
This is huge. It's a 50, what they call a 50-gallon.
Mm.
And when we had circles, that was the main center, the fire pit with the cauldron. And then we do on Dumb Supper on Silent, we usually do a mystery stew. What ends up, everybody brings something to add to the stew and see how it turns out. One year, people bought sausage, a whole bunch of sausage. That was kind of a greasy soup.
Yeah. I put an old video I did of my altar and other stuff. I have it on YouTube, but I put it up on the hearth now.
I have a question. Do you allow other people to touch your altar?
Ooh.
Sure, why not?
Yeah, my grandkids. I won't put the stuff on that I know my grandkids might mess up, if they're around. Usually, my home respects the altar. My grandkids learn not to, but if they touch it, that's fine. Because I don't have it set where it's got to stay there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm the same about crystals and tarot cards and runes. I don't have a problem with people touching them. If
you feel there's bad energy coming across someone that touches it, you just cleanse it before you use it.
Yeah.
Well, you see a lot of people go, like...
Don't touch, I know.
That's like, you shouldn't let anybody touch your altar. And so I was like, well, I let, like Mike doesn't really mess with my altar, but, the girls are like, ooh, pretty, what's that? And they'll, pick little things up. But that is okay with me because they have that positive energy, that curiosity, and it kind of adds to it, I think.
Yeah, most kids do. They have this genuine curiosity. And it's just, for me, it's just positive.
Yeah. Well, if they ask me, what is this? And I'll just tell them.
Yeah. A lot of us like having, little kids around. We had this small metaphysical shop here in Denver. It's not around anymore, unfortunately. But the girls that come in, they loved having the girls come in because they ran all over the store. And I'm trying, not to keep them from. I'm trying to keep them from breaking things, but they liked having them around. They even had a corner for kids to play in and everything because they oh, the positive energy, oh my god. So they're they like having the kids.
But it's also the children, if we're going to keep them away from everything, how can we pass it on?
Yeah, they can't learn if they can't touch. They're very tactile.
And I have an 11-year-old grandson who knows quite a bit about pagan beliefs. And he's only 11. Because he asked, I answered. Or I had him look it up, and check out what he wanted to know. But he started very young listening to the music. So he has his favorite songs already. But children, I think, are more than welcome to touch the altar. As long as, if they break it, it's meant to be. Like I told you, almost every statue I have, almost, not all of them, have their head broke off, and I had to reglue it.
Yikes.
But it's just strange because you can't see them because I glue them right away and it's very hard to tell on some of them. But I have 4 statues here that have their head broke and I just glue them back on. And that's from grandchildren playing with it and things like that. Cat knocking it over. You find it 2 pieces on the floor.
I've got a puppy chewing on my artwork.
My 2 little ones, they even have a little makeshift altar on their dresser.
Oh,
that they chose on their own to do. Right now, there's like a few little candles that haven't even been used yet. I bought a few candles at Walmart recently, and they're like, I want one. So they each have like a little ocean scented candle on their dresser, and there's like a bunch of fake flowers and fake leaves all over the place.
Yeah. I don't know if you call it
a figure that I made out of clay is up on there.
I don't know if I'd call it an altar, but my daughter is very particular about the top of her bookshelf. Those animals should be like that. And they have to stand together so they have their friends.
Mark, anything else on altars from you?
Not from me. I usually don't let people touch mine.
Yeah, that's what you were saying. And your reason. It's not right or wrong. It's the way people do things. Everybody does stuff differently.
I usually tell people that, because I'll have like a lot of powdered herbs and God knows what else on it. And some of the objects are a little bit sharp, so it's not really something that children should handle. I'm of the opinion that, out of respect, I don't touch anyone else's altar.
Oh, I don't either, though. I don't.
For whether I have good energy or bad energy or whatever. To me, it was always just a sign of respect, and all I expect is that people do the same. I mean, most people don't.
Well, most adults do, Mark. It's mainly the children or the younger minds that want to know,
with my altar, it was usually... Little kids were afraid of it, and adults kept trying to pick things up or throw away the bones or whatever else they decided shouldn't be left out in the open.
Ah. So how do you handle it when they do that?
I tell them, get the away from my altar. And if you break that skull, I'm going to use yours to replace it.
Oh, boy, I ain't touching your altar. I only got one skull.
I prefer mine to be inside my skin.
Yeah, it kind of holds my brain what I got left of it.
Welcome to episode 8 of Margarita Midnight. Today's episode, altars. Mike, he doesn't even touch mine. He, I don't mind if he does, but, when it was here in the office and he needed to get, he was moving things around and didn't want it to get, knocked over or something, he'd tell me to move it, and he knows, Well,
like Mark said, Mark's right. When I go up somebody's home, I'm not good to touch their altar if I know it's an altar. I don't touch anything when I walk in somebody's house, and it is for respect. Yeah,
I don't do that either. My husband doesn't go near any of my witchy stuff.
My husband doesn't touch it either, no. He actually helps me set up sometimes, especially if we're having a gathering, but...
I keep having to remind Mike, I don't mind if you touch it, or the girls, but it's everybody else. Even if my parents were to, poke at something, I wouldn't mind. But anybody outside, really, well, except for maybe the exception of you three, I wouldn't mind. Don't know, don't touch... Now I gotta cleanse everything.
I still wouldn't touch anything on your altar, even if I was allowed to. Even the goddess statue I bought you, I wouldn't handle that.
I really need to get some deities up on my altar.
I have them around. They're all different deities.
I have a Buddha, and I have a Mary, and I have the figure that Mark gave me. I was I have all sorts of little deities, all over my desk.
I have a few, but I haven't spread around. I just, if I find something that represents something to me, might not represent anything to anybody else, but it represents it for me, I use it.
I found a witch for $2 at a grocery store once.
Yeah.
It's a little kitchen witch, but the Buddha likes to chew on the broom, so she's not in the kitchen anymore.
Yeah, I've got 2 witches up on the fan in the kitchen. Gifts from people that have gotten amulets from me.
Yeah, that's one thing about being a witch on Halloween. Everybody goes for my Yule shopping on the Halloween sales. I'm the easiest person to buy for. I have a bunch of witches, but I don't know where to put them. I have them packed up right now. There's the nesting ones, and there's metal ones, and there's candles, and these are all, gifts that were given to me. And the one I have that's one of my favorites, it's made out of wheat, and she hangs in the kitchen. She's a a kitchen witch, but she's made totally out of wheat. She's braided and woven.
Cool.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, also, do you feel that there's a certain way to set up your altar? For example, the deities have a certain area they have to be either on the right or the left.
I don't do right or left or something. I just try to make it aesthetic, balanced.
I usually have my god on the right. I don't know why exactly I started doing it, but that's how...
Yeah, I put my goddess on the right, and I put my god on the left, or gods, or goddesses. And when people ask me, they say, why did you put your goddesses on your right? And I go, because they're always right. And so they don't say anything, and I've always done it, whether it's the right way of doing it or not. But to me, as long as you're getting your spiritual need out of any type of altar, because I've had a lot of comments asked, how do you do an altar without people knowing it's an altar? You know, because there's kind of like still what they call in the closet. And I said, you can make an altar. We even use paper. We did an altar for St. Patty's Day. We cut 4-leaf clovers out of green paper.
You can use figures that your kids have created in arts and crafts or whatever. It doesn't have to look like anything even remotely related to spirituality.
This is a hot topic.
I also gave a friend of ours who's kind of has to be in the closet. I think you know who I'm talking about.
Okay, I know. It's
spiralgoddess.com, and it only works on Internet Explorer. In order to do the, they have a virtual altar on there. You can there's like little incense cones, and there's different little deities on there, and you can drag them up to your altar. And it's like you can make an altar on that.
Oh, how cute. You need to add that to the hearth under links.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Mark, thank you for adding a bunch of links in there.
You're welcome.
Maybe we could give newbies a tip on how to create their first with stuff they already have.
Okay. Okay, newbies, did you hear that answer? You just do what you darn wanna. Because we had no reply.
Yeah, but most of us have bowls and glasses and some kinds of figurines in our houses. So pick one that feels right. If it feels right, it is.
If you feel it works. Yeah, exactly, because
a lot of people, when they start out, they jump at these pagan shops and buy more than they should, and then they regret it because it didn't feel like the correct representation.
Well, my first altar goblet was a Tweety Bird glass. That was years ago when I was a teen. You know, I had it's a little glass, kind of it wasn't shaped like a chalice, but it worked fine for mine. It had a Tweety Bird on it, and that's what I used.
Yeah, I just wanted to make the point that you can use things you already have. You don't have to go out and buy what the poobahs say that you should have.
Some people like to do the full boat ceremonial. I can do a lot without even any props.
Yeah, I don't use many props at all. Just myself.
Now, I don't know which is the proper way of saying athame or affirme, however they say it. I have nice ones, you know, but I use them for special purposes. I don't just leave them out on my altar. I have wands. I like wands. I create my own, you know. But I use wands on my altar more than I use a double-sided blade because it doesn't seem to be harming anything.
Yeah, the only blade I have is an old knife it's got a bone handle. It's more like a utility knife, but it's reindeer antler, I think, or bone.
Yeah.
I haven't had one ever since that incident that I told you about.
Yeah. I have a black-handled 6-inch one that I engraved my own sigils on it that I use. And then my son gifted me a beautiful one, and it has a goddess symbol on one side and a god on the other, and it has a sheath to it, too. But that's when we do big gathering ceremonial, it's the only time I use that one. Other than that, I don't have affame, or however you say it, on the altar.
Sort of the only prop I use regularly is a bowl. Libation bowl.
And that could be any bowl. I tend to go toward cobalt blue. And even my chalice is cobalt blue. It's a small little rinky-dink one. It's not a big one. really small, just because I'm always one solitary. It's just enough for me.
Yeah, I really want one of those hollowed out birch knots.
I have a big frosted glass chalice. It's got little like stars etched into it.
Ooh.
Just little they look kind of like little sparkles, like just etched into it.
Even certain wine glasses you might see is perfect.
Yeah.
That's why I started after the Tweety Bird glass. I went to just a clear glass like wine glass.
What do you use for candles?
Oh, I use all kinds. I have the small ones because I'm so used to the smaller ones. But let me tell you, they're harder to find now.
Yeah, they are.
They call them spell candles, and they really are hard to find.
We're fortunate enough to have a candle maker nearby, so I can get the small ones.
What else we should tell? You can use basically what we're saying on the altar is that you can use anything that feels right to you. Whether it be a rock you find off the ground or a twig that you might carve into a figure, anything. You can just walk around your yard and you can find things to make an altar. Make an altar outside. And even in your kitchen, you'll find stuff to make an altar. Everywhere. It's endless.
Yeah, and it's also possible to make portable altars. I've made a couple of them with just a feather for wind, a match for fire, the small stuff. You can put it in your pocket. So you don't have to make a permanent installation.
No, because I used to do, it's called an altar in a jar. Yeah. It's a canning jar and has all the little things you need. So there's different ways of, for your altar. You can actually do an altar without buying anything. Don't you think?
Yeah.
About the Samhain altars, I actually put my former pets on there as well.
You put your what?
Pictures of previous pets.
Yeah,
not
too.
Just relatives.
We have pets on there. Anything that's past that we love is there. You knit yourself a little altar cloth or tools from knit. There's all kinds of ways of doing it.
Yeah.
I love doing them because I can be creative. And doing your altars or when you're going to use it all, it is creative. It's creative work.
Yes, it is. Creativity is very central to me.
And it's so much fun.
Yeah.
Again, we're talking about again.
Oh, I got one.
Okay.
Clutter. I know some people, they like to have like the minimum amount of stuff and everything has to be organized. And I've seen some people where they have, like in voodoo and hoodoo cultures, they have altars that are 3-tiered shelves. And there's stuff all over it, and it's piled up on the sides and fallen all over the place. And that's actually kind of what my altars were like.
Well, cluttered?
Yeah. There is stuff everywhere.
It can get. It's just, but...
It's kind of like what my kids look like. They're just leaves and flowers.
Well, you know what? Even if you think about it, like what Mark was saying, it's like your desk, okay? It's probably got stuff everywhere, right? But you know where everything's at.
For the most part?
Yeah, but most of the time, see what happens is once you get it all organized, then you've got to remember how you organized it.
Like, where did I put this?
Exactly. If you leave it all on the desk, you already know where it is.
Yeah. I think my whole house is like that.
Mine is organized clutter. Thank you very much.
I've had to move rooms. I couldn't even count on my 2 hands how many times in the last 5 or 6 years because of somebody moving in. And every time somebody moves in, I have to lose my room. So then you pack it up. And I'm still looking for books. Okay? And I tell my husband, I said, this is my room now, and I'm going to cast a big iron gate if I have to. Somebody's going to have to move.
Thou shalt not pass. You may not enter.
Can't. That's what happens. And you got to get organized again. And I'm just starting to get back in the swing. It's very hard to do altars or doing a lot of things that I would like to do when home is in chaos. Did you notice that?
Oh, yeah. That's why I don't have one right now.
And when it is chaos, it's the best time to have an altar. But we don't, a lot of us don't do it. We just move away from it. We don't think about it because we're dealing with all the chaos.
It's kind of like the taking time out for yourself part as well. It's the first thing we drop. When things turn chaotic, you drop your me time, you drop your spirituality.
Do you think it's because we get feeling selfish if we do?
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Greetings. I'd like to tell you about an opportunity to advertise your business on All Things Pagan Radio station. Why advertise on All Things Pagan Radio? The advantage radio advertising offers your business stems from its unique combination of high reach, high targetability, and low cost. Advertising on All Things Pagan Radio can be a very effective means to attract new customers. The radio station format is Pagan Variety. The cost of All Things Pagan Radio advertising? The radio station's estimated ad rate is $45 per month. Advertising rate is for a business 60-second MP3 audio spot, and your ad airs 3 times a day for 30 days, which is 90 airtime spots. Who creates your business radio ad? Well, you do. All ads are subject to approval. If you cannot create your business 60-second MP3 audio ad, with one phone call, Sorcha and Raven can create the business ad with you. If you have any questions, and for more information, feel free to contact us via email at advertising@allthingspagan.com.